All right, hey, Justin Day with Macro Missionary. I'm super pumped about this topic because a lot of people get so frustrated with the scale, including this guy sometimes. I've been doing this 23 years, and I get frustrated with that scale, and I just want to crack it over my shark head sometime. But is the scale really bad? You know, is the scale, is it a completely useless tool, like people want to villainize it as, or does it really tell you the truth? Okay, so let's dive into this. All right, so in order to give you a good understanding on if the scale is a useful tool or can be a useful tool, because we're all different, so if it can be a useful tool for you, I've decided to do some math for you of myself. Now, I'm a scale guy. I'm a numbers person. Numbers. I'm a nerd. Okay, so numbers person, aka nerd. And what I do is I weigh myself at the same time every morning. So 6 a.m. every morning, I get on the scale and I say a little prayer first. Oh my gosh, please say what I want it to say. No, I don't do that. But I weigh every single morning. So right now, I'm going to give you 3 ways to better understand and beat the scale. Okay? Number 1, if you're going to use the scale as an evaluative tool, you need to be aware of your intake. All right, if you're following like a meal plan and you have no idea how many calories you're taking in, you may be in a deficit, you may not be in a deficit, the scale is probably not going to be a very useful tool for you, okay? But if you know your intake, and that isn't just calories, but your sodium intake, your carbohydrate intake, the scale can be a more useful tool. So let's dive into my numbers. I know my intake down to the P. So I started at 199 pounds. You see there where it says week 1? I started at a nice, robust 199. I am in 1,000 calorie a day deficit. I know, not optimal necessarily, but that's what I chose to do for 40 days. So I'm in 1,000 calorie a day deficit, and that should yield me roughly 2 pounds of fat loss per week. Now, I am using the scale as an evaluative tool to measure fat loss, not weight loss. If you want to lose weight, chop a leg off. If you want to gain weight, drink 2 cups of water. Literally, 2 cups of water is 1 pound. I can literally drink 2 cups of water. I can, in my sleep, 2 cups of water is 1 pound, 16 ounces. So I started at 199. Okay, Tuesday I went to 195, 194. You can see right on down. So you're seeing that initial drop. So what if I was just using the scale and I saw that initial drop? I'd be like, man, I'm superhuman. I have the fastest metabolism in the world. Well, what was happening there? I was clearly losing water weight. I'm only formulated to lose 2 pounds of fat, and yet I dropped 4 pounds literally overnight. Okay, no, it's not a super fast metabolism. No, I'm not genetically blessed. I lost a whole bunch of water. All right. So if you look, I'm going to give you some numbers that you can look at the end of the week. Now, the second point is if you're going to use the scale as an evaluative tool, you need to fly higher. Okay, you can't fly at 2 feet. What I mean by that, if you're flying by 2 feet, you're just looking down and you're seeing what the scale says for that day, looking down. Well, if I was just flying at 2 feet, I would see 199 to 195, and I'd be like, yes, at this rate, I'll be, photo shoot lean in 3 more days, right? You have to take yourself up to 20,000 feet. And what I mean by taking yourself up to 20,000 feet, you've got to look at the whole. So let's look at this week as a whole. Okay, I started at 199. My average weight for the 7 days was 194.5. And what I also like to do is I like to take the median weight, which is my highest weight, divided by my lowest weight. And that was 196. So that's still greater than 2 pounds for that given week. But again, a lot of that is going to be attributed to water loss. All right. So week 1 is looking pretty good. But if I just went on Monday and Tuesday, it would be looking like super good. I'd be like, hey man, I'm losing weight too quick. I need to go eat more. And that's what I think a lot of people do that are 2-foot scale watchers. They're like, whoa, I just dropped 5 pounds. I'm going to turn into a wafy nothing. I better go eat. Okay, so we need to make sure that we differentiate that and make sure that we're weighing in dry as we can in the morning first thing, if that's when we wake up. All right, let's look at week 2. Now, again, I should be averaging 2 pounds of fat loss per week. Week 2 started out at 193.5. Tuesday, 193.5, Wednesday 192.4, 192. Whoa, I hit Friday an all-time low of 190.2. Now here is another great example. When I got on that scale on Saturday and saw 192.4 up 2.2 pounds, if I were just flying at 2 feet, I'd be like, dude, this ain't working. Just gained 2 pounds. I need to cut. I need to call my coach. Dude, it ain't working. Cut. And then I got up the next day at 194.8. Well, I can tell you both those days I had higher sodium intake, higher carbohydrate intake with the same water intake. So that's why you're seeing those fluctuations. So let's calm it down. Let's not fly at 2 feet. Let's go take it to 20,000 feet and see what's going on there. All right. My low that week was 190.2. My high was 194.8. So that put my average at 192.68. All right. My median, 192.5. So the average and median are almost the exact same for that week. Still on pace. Rock and roll. Now, check this. Check out week 3. I started Monday at a whopping 196. Yes, we had sushi and Papa John's, it was Domino's. Sushi and Domino's pizza on Sunday. So my weight skyrocketed to 196. A lot of water retention there. And now you can see Tuesday of this week, which was yesterday, 192.4. And then Wednesday, I weighed in at 190.6. I am very confident that these numbers are going to average out, big picture, to be what my fat loss is calculated for. But again, if I were just looking at, hey, I hit my macros perfectly last week, but my weight's up. This is baloney. You've got to look big picture if you're going to use the scale as an evaluative tool. So using the median and the average are 2 really good ways to do that. Now, here's another thing that I want to make a point as far as lifestyle. If you're in a normal, what I would consider healthy deficit, what I would do for most people that aren't wanting to go to extremes is about 1 pound of fat loss per week. Well, think about that, 1 pound of fat loss per week. And I just told you, you can drink 1 pound in 2 cups of water. Man, that may not be the most motivating if you're looking at the scale. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's 4 pounds a month. Are you kidding me? 4 pounds a month? Really? But it's a slow process. And that's why it's important to adopt a nutritional protocol that is lifestyle, that you can look at and be like, cool, I'm okay doing this for the next 40 years. Because I'll be honest, if I were eating tuna and egg whites and broccoli for meals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 with a Slim Fast shake in between, dude, I would be out. I'd be like, dude, I better be getting like 5 pounds of fat loss if I got to sacrifice all the foods that I love. And that's what I love about macronutrient-based nutrition is it's goal-driven. So as you can see, I'm hitting my goals. I'm losing the fat. It's cool. I'm seeing it. I'm feeling it. But I'm not giving up the foods that I love. Like I said, sushi, pizzas, and so forth. So I'm eating the foods that I need first, and then with what's left over, I eat the foods that I want. So in addition to using this information I'm giving you on the scale and coming up and looking at more data, so flying at 20,000 square feet, also combine the scale. Combine the scale with, if you're trying to look good, combine it with pictures, okay? Or how do you look in the mirror? Or what I like to do, I like to slice my head off pictures, show them to 2 random people that I kind of know and be like, hey, right to left, which one looks better? And if they're like, the right one, cool, my plan's working, and I don't give 2 flying sharks what the scale says at that point because it has that fluctuation. If I'm trying to perform better, great. I run a mile, and then I run another mile a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever my evaluative time is, then awesome, okay? If that mile's getting better, what I'm doing is working, okay? And this is how to evaluate a coach too, that proof is in the pudding there. And then how I feel, like I'm feeling great now. Now, my weight is steadily coming down, but I'm nourishing my body with micronutrient-dense foods. I'm feeling amazing. So I have my little journal that I'm doing every morning, and that's what I'm journaling. Hey, I feel great. So those are 3 really good evaluative tools that you can use in addition to the scale. But if you're gonna use a scale, please just fly higher on that. Don't fly at 2 feet because if you fly at 2 feet and that scale is gonna differentiate whether you have a good or bad day, you can see here, you're gonna have some pretty bad days. And it's not gonna give you the full picture. So you want to just take your spaceship up a little bit, fly higher, and look at the total picture, the weekly median, the weekly average. So hey, if this makes sense to you and you're like, oh, rock on, I'm gonna start flying higher on my scale. Or maybe you're like, dude, did he just say he is losing fat and eating pizza and sushi on the same day? I want in. I've got questions on that. Message us at Macro Missionary on Facebook. We're on Instagram at macro_missionary_ or Jesse or Erica Dale. Message us. We are fanatically passionate. Literally every Sunday, I'm like shoveling sushi in my mouth. And I'm like, man, I cannot believe that there are people out there that think they have to restrict and starve and they can't have this and they can't have that. Man, that is just no way to live. And say that you are trying to lose that 1 pound of fat. No wonder no one sticks with their diet. Picture like 12 weeks of that. You lost, wow, a whopping 12 pounds of fat, which is actually amazing. But can you imagine going 12 weeks straight in restriction, not eating, grandma's pudding or the foods that you love, or not going out with date night for your wife? Are you kidding me? That is not a lifestyle. Forget that. And that's why 90% of diets fail. That's why people regain the weight, because they never adopted that lifestyle. So we're really fanatically passionate about coaching other people on how to do this. Okay, it's not easy. Nothing in life is easy, but it gets easier. And you should be able to lose the fat that you want to lose without making these massive sacrifices and eating blandly. That's not how it works. So message us at Macro Missionary. We would absolutely love to explain more about our lifestyle-based process, more about flexible eating, more about eating your needs before your wants, nutritional banking, so being able to bank up for date nights and things of that nature. So message us. We'd love to be part of your success journey. You guys have a great night.